I agree. YouTube Shorts is basically, to a parent, the most evil thing possible.
Just go right into it.
Okay. I forgot I was doing it for a second. Okay, wait. Okay. All right. Stop it.
Man, I love this place already.
Oh, God. The second one's always a little like, we've had a few drinks already.
I had one stiff one.
Yeah. All right.
That's what she said. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
That kind of night. Okay. Shut the fuck up.
You should have said my kind of night after that. Okay, we're going in.
I said it's that kind of night.
Oh, I thought you said my kind of night. I was like, God damn.
But that would be,
shit.
also, yeah, accurate.
Holy shit. Okay. All right. You brought an energy here with you, Hal.
Relax over there. Shh. Okay. I just want to say thank you for coming to the podcast. Hal Lovemelt. I'm going to read your bio here and try not to mess it up. Wiz Kid.
I was in a rush. I just like jotted down a bunch
I know.
of stuff.
I liked it. It was like a mind flow. It was just like words. It was great. Wiz Kid, creative technologist, built the world's greatest video booth, which is I can attest to is accurate. Patents, dancer, motion capture performer, agency creative director of experiential design. Currently is working in New York City for the biggest virtual production XR and AI creative studio on the East Coast. Yeah?
That's the wrap.
That's you.
Yep.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I ran into you recently at an event where these guys were there as well and hadn't seen you in a really long time. So it was really cool to like catch up. But we used to work together a lot back in the day and then haven't recently. So it's just fun to see you here and talk about stuff.
The good old days.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Esteban has the giggles. It's really rubbing off on me.
No, I guess
good.
I want to know
good.
what the Wiz Kid thing is, like what that means. I'm trying to translate that.
I mean, a lot of people like, like the event planners that we used to work with, and like just a lot of people in general in my whole career in general is just like, I've always been introduced, like someone will be like, oh, you got to meet Hal. Don't really know how to describe what you do.
I think I've described you to people as like a mad scientist a little.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like not really a normal, like, label for someone. I'm a kind of a problem solver with creative technology. So,
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, I saw in the bio too, or maybe not the bio, but the thing that we send out, like the AI stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get into that. Do you have more about the intro or
no?
Jumping right into it?
I was just gonna say, like, tell us like a little bit more about like how you got into events and where you started and things. And you were saying earlier you got started in live TV and.
Oh yeah, the birth of Playata, the first one.
Okay.
And I think
Playata, which is like the brand, is it still? You still?
No, we've converted it to feedback video, but Playata came from an idea. I used to do public access. And there was a TV show called Freaky Deaky.
Okay.
And it was every Sunday, a mountain of clothes, a mountain of gear in a public access studio with tons of cameras, all retro hardware with like retro mixers and just a bunch of freaks. And we would just make it up and it was all live. And there was a telephone number.
Improv?
Yeah, it was improv. And there was a phone number on the screen and people could call in. And so we'd talk to people. Like we were on at some bars and they would like call us.
Cool.
It was like 2.5 hours every Sunday. And what I ended up realizing is that, like, because people brought their friends on and everybody could, like, bring different people. What I ended up realizing is that when someone new comes into this experience and just, like, goes nuts on camera with us and has fun, in the moment they're, like, pushing themselves to be out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to watch. But then when they watch it back later, it's, like, really magic. Mm-hmm. Like, when they can, like... chill out after the show and, smoke some weed and just watch it. Mm-hmm. And they see themselves on camera with all these effects and all this cool stuff. And like thematics, we have live music and stuff. That moment of seeing them watch themselves was like, whoa, got to turn that into a business. So I started making like video booths. Then we jumped on the slow-mo booth bandwagon early.
Okay. What was the video booth like?
Well, at first we did GIFs and photos.
Nice.
But with like live chroma keying. And this was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And then we got into slow-mo booth before it was a thing, like really early.
And is that like a 360?
No, slow-mo is just slow motion.
Just all, yeah.
Okay. You got to get people to go nuts. We bring, actually, these days, for a while, and still, we're like, people will be like, oh, wait, like event planners or like wedding people, they'll be like, wait, just to be sure, you guys are the leaf blower guys, right? And I was like, yeah, we're the leaf blower. Because we bring leaf blowers.
Oh, and blow
like,
people's
blow
hair and
people,
stuff?
like Beyonce moments, like all crazy, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, slow-mo's a magical thing.
Oh, it's a great thing. We love that. We love that in our world.
Is that kind of like, you know, at the I think the Grammys, or it's maybe like the Oscars, they'll be like, can you do a pose and everything? And then like they'll have you stand in a spot, just do a movement, and then
like the glam
do this.
cam or whatever.
Yeah, that's the glam
this,
cam.
Like, really quick glam cam.
Yeah,
that's what it's like.
It's just like that, but it's well before that. And then that's it plus the robot arm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the first time we worked together, but I think that it was an event with Jake Rude with like Transmission. It was like the Shaq Nasty event. Was that it?
I don't think that's what was our first.
Oh, okay. But it was.
But that was one.
That was one for sure. That one was nuts. It was Shaq Nasty is like this group of friends who they would have a party in like February or something. It was January, February, where it was like basically Shaq Nasty was their way of saying like what do we call that? Like when you're stuck in the house all winter, you know, and you get a little like stir crazy from that. Yeah. So that's what they called it. And then they would just have a party to like let loose a little bit in the middle of all that.
They just dropped some cash.
Yeah.
Like crazy amount.
It was crazy. They rented out Aria on like a Saturday night,
party.
had Jake Rude do it. There was a huge projection wall.
Yeah, we built an entire projection. I do projection mapping too, but we built an entire like stretch projection map, DJ throne, like 40 feet across, and like rented big ass projectors. This is again really early.
Yes, this is
so
like
it's expensive.
2014, maybe 2013. Yeah, someone back there.
The time,
2013,
dude.
maybe.
I mean, sometimes. Most of the time, it's too early, and then it fucks.
And people are like, "I don't get it," and then 2 years later, they're like, "Oh, I get it now. Yeah, it makes sense.
We need that now." And they're not doing it anymore or something.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that might not have been the first one, but that's the one I remember because I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that projection wall was so cool.
I mean, that party saved my faith in like this city's willingness to like do anything cool, because it's just like a bunch of guys that are like, he's like the CEO of a huge company, and so he has some friends, and like they just throw down, and he barely breaks even, if breaking even,
right?
And just wants to throw a really great party for people, and
that's awesome.
That's very rare for the city, in my experience.
Yeah.
It's always just giant corporate parties or big brands or something, but not just like.
And
just
then
for
even
the
then it's
sake of
tamed
partying.
down because it's like, oh, Susie can't get wasted at the company party.
Yeah.
So we got to be chill, and it's just like not off the hook like it could be. But
exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mandatory costumes. They brought a DeLorean in.
Yes, I forgot about the DeLorean. They parked a DeLorean in the lobby just for fun. Just for funsies. Yeah. I forgot about that. That was really funny.
Not even relevant to the theme or anything. Just like we got a DeLorean.
I forgot it was themed too, but I dressed up as it was like a vampire doctor for some reason. I don't know why. And I had like red colored contact lenses.
Yeah.
And like
it was a medical theme or something.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm like, why did I dress up
so
like
maybe
that?
it was like what's the dude on Back to the Future? The
Doc.
scientist.
Doc. There was definitely some docs.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I remember because like we did the projection mapping, but we also did our booth, and a bunch of crazy shit happened in that booth.
It was a theme party. I forgot that we had to like wear costumes, and I actually like dressed all up for it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a vibe. It was a pretty cool event.
Yeah.
It was incredibly stressful for me, but it was a great party.
So you were just doing the booths there, like the photo.
You did the projection.
Projection mapped the whole thing.
You do a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Too much, probably. You know, like, actually, for real, definitely too much. Like, it's probably way better to just be an expert in, like, a slimmer lane.
Hey, we talked about this once. Like
with James, the jack of all trades.
Master of none.
He calls himself the James of all trades.
Better than the master of one.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually helped me out. I actually think my best skill, like if you measured all my skills, my best skill, it's actually dancing, which is like, not
That's
really much, but it's.
No, I mean, it's definitely something.
It actually got me my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The current one?
My current job.
Yeah, so tell us what you do.
Well, can we get into how did you even get into like the event world?
So you started the live TV.
Yeah, it was the photo booths.
And then photo booths.
Okay.
Yep.
And then like eventually people just like started hearing my ideas. Like I'd be at meetings about events. And like actually I think one of my biggest champions of getting into the event world is actually Amy Zara.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she brought you in for a lot of things back then.
She just saw
the potential,
the creativity, and then she gave me her mitzvah.
Oh yeah, her sons.
I was a creative director for her mitzvah.
That one was really cool.
And talk about pressure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're that's 0 to 60, right there.
Yeah.
And we went nuts.
That was a fun party. What was the group that came to perform? I can't remember.
Illuminate.
Yes, they were like on
America's Got
Talent at one point.
Where was it?
At Aria.
That was at Aria, yeah. And she just gave me the keys to the kingdom.
That's awesome.
We turned her son. We went to his house and I shot a whole thing with him, and we turned him into a
I
virus.
Was there.
We turned him into a virus.
Wait.
Was D'Amico the caterer?
That's what I was wondering. Who was the caterer?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It was like all like kind of LED lights and tech was the theme. And like there was.
Did you make a music video with them?
We were making music videos the whole time. Oh wait, you might be thinking of Dylan. I made a music video with Dylan. I became a mitzvah king for a little while.
Then one of them, I feel like I was like, what you're describing, I was like, this is ringing a bell.
I feel like Fabulous probably did that one because that was
probably
who often worked with Amy on those things, but I don't know for sure. But that was a really, really cool one. I forgot
she went all out. They put a QR code, and we had glitched out versions of the kid being like hacking. And like, so I shot him, and he became a max headroom glitch hack.
Oh yeah.
For the whole thing, so he became the voice of God. And then the party broke down. Like the DJ broke down, the power went out, fake power went out.
Yep.
And he went on screen and like kind of like voice of God had like talked to everybody how he's taking over the party, and he's in charge of the music now, and he's gonna, because it was all getting all old. The music was getting all old timey, and then we play some crazy stuff after that.
Oh, so he's like, I'm in charge of the playlist.
Yeah. And we shot that whole thing with him.
That's awesome.
And it was like, it became like the beginning of me like working with a lot of like young boys and their crazy ideas, and trying to make these really crazy ideas come to life at parties, which was cool.
That's really cool. What were you going to say, Alex?
No, that was exactly what I wanted to hear, was like, what is this virus? What is this? Like, I'm super intrigued. So I want to hear it.
And this is like, I mean, when was that? Well, I left in 2015, so it was before that. Like, QR codes, like, I didn't know what a QR code was back then. I don't think I even knew when it happened. I was probably like, what? I don't know.
It was fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they popped off pretty hard, though, when they did. And then
QR codes?
QR codes. Well, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, everyone
COVID.
had a fucking QR code. It was like business card. It was a QR code.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it died for a minute, and now it's back.
Well, there's always going to be a feature for it, because it's the quickest way to get a URL.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's built in every phone. But the quickest way to get contact is just to touch phones. Most people don't know that.
I have heard it. I just don't. I haven't actually tried it ever. But.
NFC, right?
Well, it's built in. Like especially if they're all iPhones, it's just like you just put head to head, and a crazy effect goes and warps out a melting thing across.
Yeah, I was like, do it.
Sure.
Wait, can you have a case on, or yeah?
My case fell apart.
Oh.
Watch this. Here, unlock it quick.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys! It was gonna be that kind of night. I knew it.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's happening! Shit!
Whoa!
Could you see it?
It's like video coolness.
Yeah. That's Tim Cook right there.
What do I hit? It says receive only or share.
Whatever, share.
Receiver.
Oh, so
now we're connected.
Oh shit! Yeah, there you are. God damn, dude.
That's cool. Dude. I knew it was a thing you could do, but I've just never tried it. Actually,
I had no idea. We spent money and got the stupid dot card thing.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Okay,
it's in your phone.
Does it work though if it's an Android?
It does.
Oh.
Yeah. The dot app. If you want to stay in the dot network, the dot app works, like a card would.
Dang.
Yeah.
I got you in there. That's amazing. Wow.
This is like Hal's thing is like,
no, I know.
I'm gonna come to the table and just bring you some random things that you never thought or never knew or didn't know how to do.
These days it's all about AI.
Yeah.
Big
So
time.
right
Which
now,
I'm super interested in talking about. Sorry.
no, I mean that's what I want to talk about. I want to know what you're doing now because I was saying like I know enough about AI stuff like that to like kind of go, yeah, sure, okay, yeah.
It's like super hot right now. Everybody's using it for something.
Yeah.
I feel like we even use it on some things like creating some shorts and different things on like long form videos, you know. So yeah, dig in.
Well, and how did dancing lead to this?
Seriously.
I was gonna say that story is actually really interesting, so I'll tell you real quick. I'll try to make it quick. But so I'm a dancer in my heart, in my soul, like big time. It's kind of like what I live for. And I was at Burning Man, the biggest party in the world, and I was out dancing on Playa at art cars. I was just going to town, like really just melting into myself and being like really on point. Some of the best dancing I've ever done. And I just noticed this guy watching me. And anyway, that happened like 3 more times throughout the night. So like over the course of like 6 hours, and I noticed the same guy. We just happened to be at the same party, which is really hard. Very coincidental.
A lot of people, yeah.
And then at dawn, at a sunrise set, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm like all slow and Tai Chi because it's a sunrise set. And it's like really like Buto, like very elegant stuff. And this girl comes up to me and hands me a note. And it's like a love note from this guy, and it just says like basically it just says, I need to meet you, like here's my number. I was like, but wait, why can't I meet him now? And she's like, oh, actually you're right, he's just shy. And then she like takes me over to him, and eventually I meet him, and he holds my face, and he like comes in close, and he gives me like a 10-minute long compliment about my dancing. And he sees things about the way I move that no one has ever been able to articulate, including myself. And it was like vulnerable, and it was like passionate, and I was like crying in the middle of it. And like it was like really long and really beautiful and really epic. And like anyway, he eventually became like my life coach. His name is Blob.
I'm just gonna make a note of that. Blob.
He's an incredible human. He's like a wizard, sculptor, bassist, like from Spain. Amazing person. Anyway, He and I are fast friends, and we still are. Kind of became a life coach, but I went away from that burn promising myself, like making a commitment to myself, that I would do anything and just call in whatever it takes to make dancing actually part of my life.
Yeah.
On a fundamental and professional level. And then 2 weeks later, I was like dancing a 4-hour session for free in a motion capture volume in New York. And motion capture for dancers is literally like a dream come true. That's like the suit with the balls. Like movie suit with the balls, like behind the scenes of. You're like
talking like green bodysuit type thing.
Well, they don't have to be green; they're gray actually, with just like retroreflective balls.
Gotcha.
And like you wear a helmet, and the helmet has a camera on your face.
It's tracking all your movement.
Tracking your whole movement in 3D. And I got like, because of a connection of another thing, because I was an artist for this museum, but I didn't know that they became a motion capture and virtual production studio. I never knew that. And I found that out, and I was just like, wait, I know this guy who also works there, another event legend. And I was like, I should just call. Now that I have this newfound confidence, I was just like catching up, and I was like, well, can I talk to whoever's in charge? And he remembered me, which is crazy. And then I was like, can I record a mocap volume there, or a mocap shoot there? He's like, dude, you can do whatever you want. Like, we'll do that for you for sure. And so I flew myself out there and shot for 4 hours dancing in this motion capture volume. And then like one thing led to another, and eventually directed like a virtual production shoot for a crypto company. And now I'm like a full-time creative director there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Blob
saved my life.
Dude.
Seriously.
Blob saved my life.
I mean, yeah.
And I got to keep reminding myself that I got to like re-aim to dance.
But that's real. Like, I feel like sometimes you have those moments and then you can forget it a little bit along the way unless you like intentionally come back to it.
And it's a startup, and I've always been the AI guy. And so now like I became the AI guy. So now I'm like just committed to trying to be on top. But it's a full-time job just being on top of understanding what the potential is of AI.
Yeah. I mean, and fast moving and ever evolving, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some AI and like
how it relates to events.
Yeah, that, but also just other things that you find fascinating about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you guys tried much?
I've been doing Grok.
Just chat?
XAI. It's the equivalent of like ChatGPT, essentially.
Yeah.
I use that pretty consistently for like, because I'll be like, write something and I'll sound like a dick. So I'll have it like rewrite it, my stuff for me.
Yeah, dedicify. Like, that's a dedicify mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a button. I just need a button.
It's like Grammarly, but
yeah.
it dedicify AI.
That's exactly. Grammarly's out of business for sure.
Yeah.
Because of dedicify mode.
Yeah. So it's basically for that kind of stuff. Otherwise, like when I need to do simple research things and I don't want to take the time to go down that path or whatever, the wormhole.
Yeah.
I'll use it for simple things like that. I don't know. I'm finding myself increasingly using it more and more and more.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's really important for me to always remember that like people still don't even use it that deeply.
Don't think we grasp it all that much
because
yet.
I'm just surrounded by it. So like everybody I know, it's just like it's
your
really
burden
intense.
of knowledge is really different.
But it's really important because like it's really easy for someone like me to be like to just think that I'm just like just letting a gold rush like just flow right in front of me and just watching it without doing anything. So I'm trying to build something because you can do anything like in a way that is literally the sky's falling for like most people. But I think, ultimately I say this thing about it where I do believe that the most important skills, and even right now at this point, but in the future, like for sure, but the most important skills are actually all soft. Like soft skills are the only skills in the future. It's like all that matters is interpersonal relationships. All that matters is making an impression, because real and like being confident and like having, the bravery to actually make commitments to things and following through and like, determination, self-discipline, those are way more important than technical skills, because you can become a technical skill expert in anything with just a few prompts.
Yes.
And that could be that in, very soon is literally just like telling you what to say, like in your ear, like listening to everything and knows everything about you. So it's like those skills are gone. Like, so one thing you should try is deep research, which is a completely different kind of, it's not like chat. It's like you could just ask it to do like a deep analysis of anything you want it to do, and it'll practically write you a book. But not only that, it can write you like a guide. It can write you like a pitch deck outline. It can like anything you want it to write. But it's different than just chat, where it like gives you a pretty good answer. It's like it takes 10 minutes. Like it'll go and research like 160 sites and like read the whole thing and come back and like distill it exactly how you want it. And if you get good at deep research and then reading the deep research and telling it where it should improve or what you need to expand on, and doing that 4 times. And you've written like you've understood deeply like what you're trying to understand about any technical topic, or even social emotional topics as well. So like maybe I was wrong about that social emotional thing.
Wait, you've disproved your own theory there, I guess, a little bit. But also you can't replicate that in real. Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will someday. But
you definitely can in real time. There's definitely something about like.
There's a charisma in real life and like a connection that's real. And I mean, I think sometimes when you are, even if you are connected to like whatever it is you're pulling from those sources, like there's still a disconnect of it's still kind of a script. And so it doesn't feel as authentic. If I were like reading it to you, it may not feel as authentic as if I was just like spitballing that kind of thing.
And there's ways to evolve the writing itself too. Like what's happening now, and this is kind of what I'm trying to build something around, is like deep context, where it's like I spend a lot of time like telling it all these like personalities and all these expert things that I want to know, or that are define how I want to use AI, and that becomes the system prompt for every time I interact with AI, and that just kills that instantly. Like if you do it right up front, it'll kill any time ChatGPT will sound like ChatGPT. It'll never sound like It'll never sound like that anymore.
Okay.
Like it'll sound like however you want it to sound.
Right. I mean, I've definitely gone back and be like, that's good, but I'll make it less blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
or
but
like,
eliminate that step.
that process.
It learns you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it talks just like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
There's this concept. There's these new like AI listening pins.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
You heard about those?
No.
I almost brought mine. No, but I don't have. But like, there's some new ones. There's some that came out on Kickstarter and they're great. But you have to hit record and they like record your meetings, record what you're doing.
Oh wow.
But there's some new ones that are 24-hour battery life and 24-hour recording. And like, there are people that are just leaving it on. So like, if you leave this on and it transcribes everything for you, everything that you say, everything you hear, and everything around you, you basically, just imagine this. You've done that your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You give that as context.
Mm-hmm.
You one shot. You know what a one shot is? One shot is like the challenge of like getting exactly what you want out of one single prompt.
Okay.
But you one shot like a biography and like an outline and
of
like
yourself?
and like a psychoanalysis and like everything you want, just a single shot, and it just like will understand with the vast depth of knowledge that it has.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like very like mind
Yeah, I know.
warping a little bit sometimes.
Well, I think we're going into the mind thing.
No, I love it. I love it.
No,
it's great.
but it's boring too. At the
No,
same time.
I mean, I don't think it is. It's
I thought we were talking about like drunk people at weddings. Or
we'll get there.
Well, wait, just to go back to people using AI, not realizing it. I don't think we said that, but people are using AI and not realizing it. Like, for instance, Google uses AI overview. And so when someone puts in a prompt of like, how do you recycle a can correctly? It'll literally go through its Google database nowadays, and just the first thing they'll show you is AI overview. Tells you how to do whatever you're doing, and then I'll give you a link to like, this is where I found it, and here are 5 more links to prove that this is correct, type of deal. And like, I think that's something I started noticing like I would like to say last year I started noticing that coming up more and more, because it used to be that I had to look for like, go past the sponsor links, and then go to the first link or second link, or I'll go to the 5th link. But now it's like above everything, above the sponsors and everything, AI overview.
Yeah, I mean they better be doing that.
Yeah,
Google's gonna be put out of business if they're not like trying to.
Yeah, they definitely trying to recover.
But they just released like 2 days ago. They just released the most powerful model. Yeah, brand new Gemini 2.5 Pro or something, and it's really good. It's like shockingly good, and it does images too. Like ChatGPT just released yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's the thing; it's like literally every week. It's like
it's the acceleration of it is really, which makes perfect sense because it's like a feedback loop.
It's feeding itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, in conjunction with like events, like what do you see AI, like what role do you see like AI playing a role as, like in the most, I guess, capacity or whatever?
Well, events are interesting. I mean, this is an interesting question because events are really, really interesting, because there is, if you are in certain situations, you could have a shitload of data, like so much data. Like venues obviously have, if you've done your shit right, you have like a lot of data. And that with that data, you can like optimize all kinds of stuff. You can like learn behaviors. You can like figure out best practices for different like logistical problems. And that's just the simple stuff. But the creative stuff is like really powerful. Like I have this, I just threw a 40th birthday party for myself in New York. And I used the excuse of me turning 40 to get access to our 80-foot LED wall in our space, and like convince.
That's a pretty good excuse.
Yeah, convince the partners that we have to like let me try to like test some new ideas with like AI image plates. So we've been making these like video plates of like crazy surrealist scenes, and I spent like 48 hours making like hundreds of like images, then turn it into video as like these scenes that people could pose in front of. So it was like an LED video booth, and I invited all my friends, and like they came and like would get on a stage and like go by hand to these cameras. The goal is actually to match move the content so that we put the camera on a robot arm so it like matches as the content moves. The content doesn't move in this space, but it like the video naturally moves because of how you've analyzed it, and then we would like match move so the robot arm matches the content. And so we're testing that out. It's like in theory. And like the thing about it is we wanted to also test like making it interactive. So we had people come up and like just type in some cool ideas, and it generated 8K HDRIs. So then whole scene worlds that you could like quick like find a cool angle and then like take some cool videos, but like very rapidly, like 5 seconds probably. And then a world exists, and this was my idea out of that party. And I think these are the kinds of things that I think interactive parties and experiential events should get to, is where it's like a lot more creative, a lot more conceptual, a lot more like fun, frankly. But like imagine being at a party, having like a goal to the party where it's not just shooting the shit with people, but like putting people together for a purpose. Like have you ever been to like a murder mystery event?
Yeah.
Where you play a role.
I haven't. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play a role and you're like, supposed to be that role, and you're supposed to interact with people in a certain way. It's super fun. It gets you out of your comfort zone. Kind of like, Feedback and Play Out in the TV show. It's like I want to get people doing instead of just drinking,
Right.
And so like when they do it, if they could do it, the idea is like if you like get in there and you like have some sort of concept and you move around and you play, you could be listening. You could make it more like a kind of like a creative jam where you're like listening somehow with AI or something. And then like those thoughts and those ideas of the characters turn into plates automatically.
Like you could put one of those little on them and like have it adjust things as they go.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so like I think that sort of thing, and this is one of the things that I think that you do and did really well with like feedback and the photo booths and things that we worked on, or video booths, is like giving permission to people to like let loose a little bit. And like especially here when people are a little more reserved, sometimes they really need that. Like they need to be given permission to do it and to be encouraged to do it, and not in a like make a funny face kind of way, like a real direction behind it, which I think is super helpful and like helps people break out of like that mindset of like, oh, we're here for a corporate party or whatever it is, and I can't like I can't act like this here, whatever.
Yeah.
Remove some of that layer of like internal monologue and judgment sort of thing.
It's still hard in Minnesota, I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, I bet.
It's like and you gotta read the people, but like some people were not gonna give you more than like this. Like they're just gonna give you some weird face. Or like, and you can like try, and but then all of a sudden you get surprised. Like I'll get surprised by like the weirdest people that feel like actually grandparents have done some of the coolest, craziest stuff on camera for me than anybody. Like they'll like be like coming in, and their kids will bring them in, and they'll be like, Dad, like we're supposed to go slow, like move around, dance around, and then they like break out and like full on dance party, like out dance their kids. It's awesome.
I wonder if it's sort of like they're less. I mean, you get less concerned about people's. I don't know. Not everybody,
like
but
you lose the
inhibitions of some of the not everybody, but some inhibitions as you get older. Just like who cares,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like you're the top. So
Yeah.
Who cares?
What's gonna happen? I'm gonna die from this. Like
That's
okay,
true.
This is my daughter or my granddaughter's wedding. I can go crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
It's also why weddings are better than corporate events.
Well, yeah, it's social things in general, and like, I guess with bar mitzvahs it's harder because not everyone's drinking, but kids will do whatever, right?
There was a slump when it was just they were really awkward for a while.
Like the kids or the parties?
The kids. Like it was just over sexualized.
Oh yeah, there was a period where I was like, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, but then TikTok made it more about performance, I think, and then it became more about like collaborative, like dancing, and I think there's some good from TikTok that comes with co-mingling the sexes a little more. It's just like things are
reduces
a little more
that friction or tension.
Yeah, but there's like this hard time. Like I would never want a teenager in the last 8 years. Like that was the most brutal time to be a teenager, or for a parent to have a teenager.
I would argue that maybe some of the early 2000s when we like body shamed everyone for everything, and like
that was bad.
that wasn't great either. As a like late teenager during that time when we're like Jessica Simpson is so fat when she's on stage. You know, that kind of that was a rough time too. But I agree. It was
at least there was no like hardcore social media.
Yes, I am very grateful that I did not grow up in that.
Oh my God. I feel like my teenage years was definitely like weirdly sexual.
Yeah.
It was super weird. Like I never went to any more dance. I went to one dance and I was like, I'm done. Nah, this is so weird.
I watched
weird expectations.
A lot of very uncomfortable like mitzvahs that I was like and school dances too.
I was gonna say the proms.
Whew, sometimes it's very uncomfortable.
Yo.
Have you ever seen the like chaperone hiders?
No.
There's this move, and I've seen it multiple times. And like I stepped in a few times actually because I got really uncomfortable. But there's this move where like, and they have a chant or something. But I think it's like designed to hide from chaperones, where they're like there'll be guys and they'll be on their shoulder, and then they like planned this, and then like a bunch of other guys come, and then they surround a girl. Yeah.
Dislike.
Yeah.
And like what happens behind them, I don't know.
You can't tell because it's yeah.
Yeah, the dark days.
Ugh,
that's crazy.
Dislike that.
Kids will find a way to do some crazy shit though too. That's
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Kids say the darndest things.
You turned 40, so now you gotta like just lean into it.
Well, the recess therapy guy took over the flag. You ever seen that guy? You know that video? It's corn. It's a big lump of juice.
No, I don't know this.
The juice.
It's cold. A big lump of nuts. It has the juice. I got a more beautiful thing.
Anyway.
Alex, you'll have to find that.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to get a lot of reference videos out after this. Fucking
Not the chaperone hider. I don't want any references.
no.
Never want to think about it again. Actually,
We're going forwards.
Yeah, we're moving ahead of that.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of curious to hear because you do work like on the East Coast and here, like the things that are different or that we could push forward here in Minnesota more. That
we're just behind the times.
I mean, we're always, but
right?
a little bit.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. Not for crazy outdoor events. But in the event industry, it was just like shameful.
How different it is.
Yeah. I mean,
tell us a little. Go into that a little bit.
The Bohemians here are amazing, right? Like the weird underground, illegal theater, burlesque weirdness that happens in the underground here is amazing. Like I have a couple friends that throw some crazy underground, like no park permit, like crazy theater shows with like hundreds of people that come watch. And that is amazing, and everybody's interesting and weird. But, normal, regular event, it's just, there's not really a super expressive costuming thing here, unless you're a burner like me. But that's like a small scene. Like, there's not like theatrical kind of parties where you're like, feeling the event and feeling the vibe and like really going into the theme. Like,
yeah,
you go to a theme party, you're like, you not only dress up, but you have like concepts in mind, and you have ideas, and you have like cool gags you want to do. You like play characters and stuff.
I mean, I think it's interesting to just in context of like the conversation, our last episode that we filmed of Star Awards, and maybe like, I mean, that is one where like people really go in hard on like the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that like is part of what makes it like kind of over the top and a little more, it definitely plays into it for sure.
Well, event people are going to be the kind of people that go out. Yeah.
I mean,
they want something fresh.
Yeah. I mean, the costumes at the Star Awards like last week were incredible. Like people's outfits were incredible, and they really like went for it all the way.
Did Justin and Heather sweep again?
They did. I think they were only nominated in one category in like entertainment. Production. But yes, of course. Yeah. I was up against them in that. I was like, just hand it to them. I don't even want to. Don't put my name on the screen. This is nonsense.
And for those that are enticing entertainment.
Yeah. And also it was very funny because Justin and Heather and their whole team, I was like, you guys this is your like cast offs in your wardrobe, right? You just like pulled this out of like a dirty bin somewhere. This is just your normal clothes.
Yeah.
And they were like
every day.
Yeah. Justin was like, oh yeah, I like this jacket has gotten really old. I'm actually going to throw it away after this. And I was like, yep. Yeah, that tracks. I have no questions.
I would take any of his throwaways.
It was shedding throughout the night. It was incredible. It was like, oh, Justin was over here. I see a little bit of sparkle.
They're the best.
Yeah, they really are.
They're the best. That level of organization, though, don't find that in New York.
Really?
For entertainment? No, entertainment is like kind of like a fever dream in New York. You know, you can get anything you want. Literally any act you could possibly want, you can get in New York. But it's just this like grab bag of like craziness of how you contact the right people and like how you get them there, and nobody has a car.
Yeah.
So like it's like a little more complicated in that way.
And meanwhile, like Justin has like built out a whole software for his. It's like super amazingly organized and which is so cool.
But he's a special breed.
Yeah, he is. He's a very special dude for sure, like in the best way possible. And Heather, like the two of them as a duo was incredible. So
I know
they do crazy shit. I love their stuff.
So are we on the trajectory at least a little bit to compete?
Yeah, no, I've my faith has been returned. Actually, at the party we met, that was refreshing.
Oh, really? That little guy? That was like a smaller.
It wasn't refreshing because necessarily like the people and the vibe. Like, well, actually, I was a little depressed about there being an LED cube that like
you step in.
Like if I knew, I would have wanted to, film a quick music video.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like that all that work to set that up, and I told Monica all this, like, all that work to set that up, and then not like shoot something really cool in there.
I actually I didn't catch it. I didn't realize it was happening when I was there. I was also very out of it because I'd been sick or something. But I saw pictures afterwards, and I was like, oh, that is cool. I didn't realize that was
great displays. But like you said, you could have done.
There's a lot of potential.
Let's get some creatives in here to just like do some additional stuff.
And I think something we could do better here is like embrace the creative techs, like the glitch weirdo kids, or like the more tasteful like motion graphic stuff. But it's all about budget. It's like it's just like when you decide that you can spend money on like video art, like that's a different threshold. In Minnesota, you're going to spend way more money on the s'mores bar than you are on like a good VJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do like sort of related to what you were just saying here is like one of the things that I always really enjoyed with what you guys did was like the encouragement, right? And having like somebody there to help people like even think about what to do in those photo booths and like how to like behave and all of that. And I think, you can't get the really cool content from them if people don't know how to like behave in it or like what to do. And so having sort of like a ringer sort of vibe is super helpful. And like, I do want you to tell these guys about the photo booth that we did for that party, or the video booth that we did for the Aliyah party, with the glam station and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like that was so cool.
For the machine shop one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was during Aliyah Live, which is like the conference that they used to do every year, and it was hosted in Minneapolis in 2019. And we did a party like before, like the night before. It was like, it wasn't the welcome party, it was like a local chapter party, and it was at Machine Shop, and it was yacht rock themed.
Nice.
Great theme.
Yeah. No
I
Coast.
love that theme.
It was No Coast Up Close was our theme, and so we collaborated on like putting together, and you just made like a crazy killer one. It was so cool.
Yeah. The elevator?
Yeah.
We built a fake elevator. It was inspired by the
Oscars or something, right?
Or the Grammys or some after party at one of those big award shows, and we were like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Built a fake elevator with a functioning door, fake wallpaper, fake sconces.
It looked like it was on a yacht. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like wallpapered and looked like literally it was on a yacht, and that you were like stepping off the elevator on a yacht.
So like it was a photo booth?
It was video
booth.
Okay, and then so that it's closed and then it opens?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can come with ideas or like work with me to have an idea where like you could have people outside like waiting to get in the photo booth.
Gotcha.
Or waiting to get in the elevator, and the elevator opens up and people are like making out and they stop a scene. And part of what I built is like in the software is like I built ways to like micro edit on the fly. So like if I take 2 shots, and typically we do 2, if I take 2 shots, I can like wait where I want the sections of both shots, so I can like get a good shot. And if I hit cut, if I see something perfect and there's a good moment to end, I hit cut. I know that one should be weighted to so that it goes to the end, and then I get the next shot and it goes to the start. So you can like make these little mini movies, and it auto edits with music, and like we had a doorbell sound in it, and like some seagulls probably. And like you make it like really thematic, and then that instantly plays back for everybody. So then they see it and they're laughing, and those are the best moments when they like see themselves and they're laughing. But the best part about the instant playback is that everybody else sees it, and they start thinking about their own ideas, and then it kind of becomes contagious. But the coolest part we did about that is making it at the end, and this is what I've always wanted to do. This was the first This was the first time that I got the opportunity, but we put it at the end of like a quick little like costume tent.
We did like a costume and like a glam station basically, so you could like put on, and it was different than, you go to like some photo booths and they have like a table with like props, right? It was that, but like 1,000 times better, where there was a room, it was like a dressing room, so there were like dressing room lights and mirrors and stuff, and then there was like a row of hats, and there was a row of fake mustaches, and then there was like different attire things, and so people could like really like get in character basically. And that was another thing too, where people would be in there getting ready and like egging each other on a little bit and be like, oh, you need to put on this mustache or do this or whatever. And then the next step of it was somebody like coaching them, right?
Yeah, you'd come and one of my team would coach you, and then you'd get ready and you'd go up.
Yeah, so I don't see any of this kind of shit right now.
I mean, we killed it with that one. That was so good, but then COVID.
Not a lot of I mean, you don't see a lot of that at all.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen any of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
it was
and
great.
It sounds awesome.
It was really great. I have a ton of videos and stuff from it because it was just so fun. And like the hardest part was getting people to take off the costume part so that we could put it back into the circulation. I feel like that was hard.
No, it's real. I've lost it. I mean, you kind of just got to give up.
I think you just have to like have like hundreds of them and just accept that they're going to be disappearing. I do have some of them still in my garage, though. I will say that.
Yeah, you're a thief.
No, I bought them all.
Oh, okay.
It was my party. Yeah, it was my party, dude. I was planning it, and I bought all these things because I was like, oh, we need to get, like, we had like those like green visors, and we had captain's hats, and like I don't remember what else, but I have a ton of it in my garage still.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be really inspiring. Essentially, when you think about it, my whole career and my basic, if you had to mission statement my career, it's basically trying to get like adult parties back to like imagination playtime of being a kid. Like we all just need to get there, need excuses to get there. That's why we drink, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just like lower inhibition, less like worried about work tomorrow. Like it's like you can do the same with activities and with like concepts and with like prompting other people to like challenge them to do. It's like why Dungeons and Dragons is fun. Yeah. Like you can play a character, you can be someone else for a second.
Do you think that like in like a sort of like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but like opposite directions of like with younger generations, like drinking less, but like having like TikTok and things like that, like is it changing like how that dynamic works a little bit from what you see, or?
Sure hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
there's like very real like ramifications of how much less like younger generations are drinking, of like how events are going to be happening, I think.
There's a lot of like in New York, there's so many new like sober bars and stuff, and like some of the most intense dance parties are like from a party called Daybreakers, where it starts at 11 in the morning, and it's like the craziest dancing.
We just had one it wasn't sober, but it was we just had one at Hollywood Theater, which is one of the places that we managed, called In Bed by 10 or Bed by 10. So it's like
cool.
it's like a rager dance party, but they end at 10.
That's got to be so refreshing for so many people.
Yeah. Shannon Blowtorch DJ'd
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love Shannon.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is actually like a rager. Here we go. And they had a great time from what I heard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
People need an excuse. I mean, that's what events are for. You need an excuse. You're not going to like go hard in your bedroom alone. Creatively, socially, on the dance floor, you need people. You need the energy of other people. And why not make it weird?
Well, you say the TikTok thing too. Like, are they interacting enough as youngsters to like go to an event and interact with people?
Like the
live?
social,
like they're
awkward.
on TikTok and kind of interacting on TikTok, but they don't have like real social.
I honestly don't have enough experience.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the case. I think there's probably good and bad. I think there's probably both sides of that. Yeah. There's probably some element of like being more comfortable, for one, being more comfortable on camera, but then there's probably also way bad of being like judged. Yeah. And so like I actually have kids, so like I think about this all the time, and I think it comes to like this question of you're either a creator or a consumer, and that like happens at a certain point. And like a creator doesn't have to be like, get ready with me influencer on TikTok or whatever, but I think a creator of any kind where you at least have enough confidence to like put yourself on camera. Yep. And that now I think it's actually dire necessary to, if you have kids, like to make them comfortable to be on camera, mainly because the world works on video, but also because it will prevent them from just consuming. And that's when you get into just like doom scrolling nightmare.
That makes sense.
Or like internalizing negative messaging and things like
don't
that.
Don't just watch,
but
create.
Be part of the conversation. And it's really fucking hard. Like I haven't even figured it out for myself. Like I push myself into weird situations and I'm brave enough to do that. But like to have enough energy at home to like just go and get on camera. I tried to be a Twitch streamer in the pandemic. Yeah. Okay. And I got pretty far, really far. And then like our storage unit with all our gear got robbed.
Oh shit.
And so we lost a bunch of stuff, and like I had to start over.
Deflated a little, yeah.
And move it home, and didn't really have a dance floor, but like I had like the VPX.
Yeah.
The thing we did at the machine shop.
Yep.
The greatest video booth of all time.
Yep.
I basically had that in a storage unit all of the pandemic, and I built like an entire Twitch streaming station with like 6 cameras, 17 lights, all on DMX with different sequencing, and I could like hit them at any time and like go to it, and it would track my Valve Index controller, so I could like have the camera control where I was looking, and dance, green screen, crazy shit.
When did we do that? Like not launch, but like when you did like the video of it in Machine Shop. When was that?
I keep thinking it's 10 years, but I don't think we've been 10 years.
No, it was right before COVID, I think, at some point. Or like, because...
It's like 5 years ago at least.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 years ago. But VPX, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain what it was?
Yeah, so I built a technology that ended up having to patent stuff. We built a multispectral camera. So it sees RGB, but also infrared. And we have a backdrop that looks black like this to the naked eye, but it's totally glowing white to infrared. And that way you could do a perfectly dark room, strobing lights, fog, haze, crazy colored lighting, and still get a perfect silhouette. So you could do like crazy compositing. And so it's really high end. I could talk about it forever. But anyway, it's like this really crazy booth. And like we sold it maybe 6 times ever, but it was like $35K price
right, I was
tag.
gonna say it probably wasn't cheap when you did sell it, which is great.
We sold it once. Did I ever tell you the big one?
I feel like we talked about it, but I don't remember. Tell me.
I sold it to Philip Morris for a launch of a brand new vaporizer rig for like cigarettes in Poland.
Oh shit! Okay.
And we flew it to Poland.
Oh my god!
Did you know that you could carry truss on a commercial airline?
No, I did not know that. These guys, I'm like looking at you guys.
This shit.
Did you know this?
Wait,
I did not know this.
I've been
like
in AV.
The big metal truss?
I've been in AV a long time, but this blew my mind. And I can't believe how brave we were to even try it. We made fake credentials for.
Can I see that?
For it's a media pass.
Media pass. Actually, that's a thing that last year we were going to a different country, and I was doing research on how to travel with our gear and stuff, and one of them was explaining that you can actually get through without having to pay if you have a media pass, and all you have to do is just print out your picture, your title, and just say media.
This photo is
so like
incredible.
The Dominican, you're saying?
Yeah.
And we could have got
that was
through
shot at a machine shop.
Was it? Oh,
We could have gotten our stuff through everything without a problem.
Well, it's basically a bag
With
could
all,
be
like,
oversized
customs?
and you don't have to pay.
Yeah. Customs, bags, all
Customs
of it.
will look through it, but like it'll get through it.
It's like taking like a ski bag through or something, or
So
golf
you can bring
gloves
like
or...
tons of shit.
We were at
Yes,
500
but I was,
pounds
like,
a bag.
unsure
Jesus.
about it because I've known nobody who's done it. I've like
Yeah, no. If I had any
just read
sense,
something online, I'm just like I'm not gonna just trust my gear to just this random thing online.
honestly, it's insane that we did.
I mean, that
Like-
tracks completely.
It's so risky.
If anyone was going to do that, it would be you. I
It's
imagine.
so risky. And me and my brother, we went all the way to Warsaw, Poland, and barely like we were literally carrying a train like the size of this whole room of Pelican cases connected to each other with bungee cords through the airport. Through we had a transfer too. It's like
That's insane, actually.
it was. Anyway, it was crazy. It was one of the craziest, biggest parties.
Yeah.
And a year later, he won. The guy who hired us, he won an experiential award at basically the ILEA of all of Poland.
Oh, shit.
For us. So we won.
So you won, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It was cool.
All right. I mean,
I guess we got to get her some we got to get her some media passes.
Media
out.
passes.
Well, now that we have somebody who actually stuff
Prove it.
might trust it.
$50 a
I'm
bag.
not trusting our gear to this. This is like a one shot.
Yeah.
Dude,
Lose
I'll
it
just
all.
end up deported.
The
Fucking
crazy
A.
one was the truss bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
An entire stick of truss in a truss bag.
How big?
An 8-foot stick of truss with a bunch of gear inside of the truss.
I just imagine the dude that had to put it on the plane just fucking mad.
Yeah.
This is
throwing
like
it on there.
this is like
fucking-
the best episode these two have ever filmed. They're really enjoying this. Like your faces are very engaged. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, Patrick's all glowing up. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, just like an 8-foot stick of truss is like.
It's
It's
not
not a
that heavy.
commercial. It's not that heavy. It's not about it being heavy. It's about the size.
The size, yeah.
And like
Awkward.
watching them, like when you're like in line trying to like get onto the plane, you can see out the window of like them moving into the small little hole.
Yeah.
And like you've seen like especially with everybody being online on TikTok and like YouTube Shorts and all that stuff, you could see people like fill the bottom of the plane with all this stuff.
Yeah.
So the idea of an 8-foot truss with gear inside, which is like that's just
terrifying.
mean.
I know. I don't know what we were thinking.
Oh my gosh.
How heavy was it?
All the bags combined was over 550 pounds.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
What'd that
It's amazing
cost?
though.
The first gig, our first breakout gig, was a oil baron in Austin, or no, Dallas,
Texas. Okay.
for the opening of a hotel.
Okay.
And Fairmont,
Okay.
I want to say. A brand new Fairmont in Austin, or no, Dallas, or one of those.
Somewhere in Texas.
The one that's right on 94. Anyway, it's like, it was crazy. That one was a weird party. We got offered acid by like 6 people in the booth.
That is not what I would anticipate in Dallas, Texas at all. Like,
And we got kicked out.
oh, why?
Meaning, I think the party turned into something different that they didn't want anybody at.
They didn't want any video of it.
Yeah.
All right,
They're
Texas.
like, we're not going to be recording anymore, and you need to leave the room.
The
you can
acid
come back tomorrow.
has been distributed, and it is time for
shit.
something else.
Because there was like some names in there.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then we did Tesla. I did the opening party of the Gigafactory, the factory
Texas.
that built the Cybertrucks.
That's the Texas one or the Cali one?
The Texas one.
Yeah.
And like that one was so surreal. We only had 2 weeks to get it all together, and we flew like a whole truck. Like where we drove a truck, we flew some guys, but like a full size semi.
Okay. Oh, a semi?
Yeah,
Like an 18-wheeler?
there was
Okay.
a bunch of tile, LED wall involved, and it was like 180K, and like we had to get it all there, figure out all the logistics, get it all there, set it up in like under 8 hours. And like, it was insane. And I sent my techs in there and my AV in there. And I was like, guys, can you figure out where we'll drop you off? Because they're telling us we can't park here. So we're going to have to go talk to somebody for credentials. Just run in there and figure out where we should go because we got to get ahead of schedule. And this is their story. They walk in the building. Nobody asks a thing. They're walking around the building. My brother's one of them. He's in flip-flops, walking around the Gigafactory. They go up into the offices. They're walking around all of the employees of Tesla, just wandering around.
And nobody's like batting an eye.
They're probably
Nobody's
like,
wandering around.
they're just used to the crazy show.
And they just keep going, and then they go to like this one room in the upper level, and all of a sudden this kid runs up, and they just don't know where they are, and the kid runs past them, and he's like, whatever, and then Elon walks past them, and then they realize that they're in the main boardroom of the whole building. And in a room with Elon, his like right hand, and then the person throwing the event.
Wow.
And then like they're talking, she is talking to them about the party logistics, and they're going through a bunch of stuff, and they don't even acknowledge these.
Yeah.
My main tech, my technical director is just sitting there, and my brother doesn't even acknowledge them. And then eventually my technical director pipes in to like offer some advice because he's been listening.
He's just listening in.
And they're like, and Elon's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And that was like his experience. And then eventually they're like, wait, who are you guys? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll show you where to go. But no, you guys should get out of here.
Yeah, shouldn't be in here right now.
Oh my God.
We have like a standing weekly meeting at like a engineering firm in Plymouth with higher security than that. Like it's
yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And then we got these badges too, and I kept mine, so I can get into the Gigafactory.
Well, clearly no one's. Maybe not right now. Maybe not right now. I think they'd be afraid they'll burn it down if they probably don't let people wander in there right now.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Hard security.
Yeah, it's definitely a different
game
game altogether.
Now,
It's like a war zone down there now.
Yeah.
He tried to come in the booth because we had a video booth and we were in the after party zone, and he walks down. He's walking into the room, and I'm just like, yes, this is Elon. And I had this really great idea. We like did this on a whim with my other company, Mighty and True, and we did this on a whim where we bought a motion capture suit, one of the like non-ball ones, and I'm like there trying to dance it out, and we built an entire Unreal scene of the Tesla bot dancing in the bed of a Cybertruck in the desert, and we built this crazy lighting scene with like it's like a full game engine scene with the camera spinning around.
And by Unreal, you mean the Unreal Game Engine?
Game Engine,
just for the people who don't
Okay,
understand.
I wouldn't have got that. Thank you. Yeah.
And the camera's swinging around, and people can like control the camera and stuff. And I was like, oh, I gotta show Elon. So I go and try to put the suit on, and I get out there, and Elon's like walking over to like get in the booth and see me dance as a cyber robot, and we just like rushed to it, and he's like walking. He's gonna get in our booth. He's gonna be on camera in our video booth, and then he just gets swarmed so hard by like cowboys, cyber or like crypto bros, like just so many, like just
cowboy crypto
an army
bros.
of
That's
them
a whole
came
vibe. Okay.
and just started to talk to him about everything, all these things, because he was entering like a public space, and then like we were close to the door, but then like we never made it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just got swept away in a wave of crypto dudes.
The crypto bros got you,
I keep getting bad luck on the crypto parties. We had Beeple, you know Beeple?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this because I think you mentioned it in your thing that he was in your booth. And
Yeah, Beeple. You guys know who Beeple is? Beeple's the biggest NFT guy of all time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's exactly why I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
Well,
Alex don't know shit about it.
He's like he has like a museum. He's like the first artist to be on the thing. Anyway, he's also a VJ legend, so all us VJs know who he is because he like used to offer up all these packs for free. But anyway, he was at a crypto party at First Ave, and he came in our booth, but it was one of the small booths, just like one of the cool like melting booths, and he was like, wow. You know, this is so cool. I mean, it could do anything. And then, like, strobes go crazy and, like, fog goes crazy because we wanted this one to be a little edgy. And my brother, who was a little drunk at the time, had his fingers on the strobe and fog button. And he was trying to impress people. But he was just like people's like in there like, this is really, really cool. And then, like, maximum strobe, maximum fog.
It's like blinded him.
And then he's just like, oh, no. And he just walks away. And I was like, God damn. We could have had the best client of all time.
You basically got flashbanged out of there.
I know.
Oh my God.
Damn.
I mean, I love a good geyser, like real close to people. Like surprise geysers are the best, but not at celebrities.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I had a question. You brought up D&D a little while back, and me and Esteban actually ran into somebody who works in VR, and I remember having a conversation with him about bringing D&D into the VR space, but it's like hard because VR and D&D is purely imaginative, and VR is kind of like more
reality.
It's a reality that you have to create. It's a virtual reality
As it
that
is
you have to
virtual.
create.
Reality.
My question is, can AI be the bridge between your imagination and VR?
Oh, absolutely. I've made, I think I'm coming up on like over 300,000 images, because it gets really addicting. And I've taught classes to kids at my son's school on how to, like, it's a workshop where we all come up with cool prompt ideas and animals that don't exist, and we like make all this AI art together. And I think it's basically guaranteed to be going there. I know of a few games that are doing it now. Actually, my friend is making a game that's like D&D but for bands, where you like form a band together. And so you're in like a fake band, and they mix it with Suno. So you actually make songs. Like in the session, you just like come up with ideas and make songs. And then like you roll the dice and weird shit happens. Like, you know, your bass breaks, and like you have to like come up with more money, and you have to decide between drugs and rent payment and like but
real life.
This is
like
this is how we're gonna finally start our band.
I've
Here we
been
go.
there. Yeah,
but like the
sounds
drugs,
like my life.
the drugs help you make better new songs. You know?
Of
So you have to
course.
make a decision.
Of course they do.
And so that's like part of the like process of, but it's really fun the way they use AI.
I like how that's somehow the solution for fixing your bass that you broke. So having drugs or rent.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
But
Well,
it's
at
true,
least
because you
ease
can't
the
fix
pain.
it now, but you will make better music. But you can't fix your thing. Yeah.
And the drugs will ease the pain if you can't make more music. At least. So
Yeah.
there's
Well,
always
you
that.
You
come
just
up with
won't
it. Oh, new instrument unlocked. You know,
Yeah, 3-string bass.
or like what's that old timey one?
The
Oh,
usury
like-
dude.
No, you just breathe.
I
In,
know.
you
It's
just breathe into a liquor bottle.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
the jug.
A jug.
Yeah.
A jug.
Jugging.
Yeah.
Jug band blues.
Yep.
But yeah, imagining D&D characters, I think it's already very much happening in a big way. Animating them, I don't think should happen. Like I don't think you want D&D to get to the point where they're just making bad Hollywood movies out of it. I think D&D is meant to stay in here, but visualizing what the characters look like as images, as static images, I think is really cool. Because like you said, you know, D&D is up in the imagination zone. And as a father, you know, I wouldn't, the more you take, I was like, I want to get away from video games as much as possible. That's fun. And more into imagination.
Okay, so I guess this goes into, sorry, you brought up your son and how you teach other kids about AI and all this stuff. And you mentioned earlier in our in this episode that you believe that kids should be more interactive when it comes to records and stuff like that. Like, instead of just consuming, they should be creating as well. I find it curious because I'm a new father, and so I've been really. You guys are so distracting.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
so sorry.
Being a new father, I'm really trying to understand should I be separating my child from the video world, being a creative myself. It's kind of like, I don't want him to be like obsessed or connected to these devices like I've seen so many kids have been, and I've personally like this is the most I've talked during our podcast.
Oh, I wasn't kidding. This is your guys' favorite episode ever.
Yeah, this is probably
they're very engaged. I love it.
This is probably the most I've talked in any episode, and it's entirely because of the fact,
all the topics that he's brought up. I mean,
yeah, it's very hard for me to be on screen, even if I was an actor before and everything. I just didn't like the idea of my presence being out there in the world. It's a weird. Like, what is the balance between your presence into the world being part of the community, I guess, versus it being the one that kind of, I want to say controls the community in a way.
I feel like I know, I understand what you're asking, because I was thinking the same thing when you were talking, or maybe it's not the same thing, but maybe, it is.
I can't even fully grasp what I'm trying to say.
I think when you were talking about it, I was thinking about how, like, I'm not uncomfortable in front of a camera, obviously, but I'm not, like, I don't like to seek it out necessarily, and I'm not always the most uninhibited in front of a camera, but so I'm not somebody that I consider myself a creator of it, but I like to create opportunities for creators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where, but I guess in some ways it's just like a creator at some point. I just am not, like, on screen like that in that way.
On camera.
Are you worried about your kids seeing you in a different way?
It's not necessarily about me being seen in a different way. I try to be very authentic of who I am as much as possible, no matter what the position I'm in. It's more of understanding, should kids be really, like, I know that we're going in this technical path. Should kids really be diving headfirst into the TikTok world? Should they be diving headfirst into these YouTube shorts? Because I find myself fuming.
Yeah. No, okay. I have a great answer for you.
Okay.
So, I guess I kind of want to clarify my philosophy, because I've always thought about this as a kind of the perfect analogy is something actually called, not analogy, but the perfect example is cardboard, or Adventures in Cardboard. Have you ever heard of that? There's a camp here in Minnesota. It's the greatest summer
cardboard
camp.
camps are insane.
Yeah.
The
Like,
greatest camp in the world is in Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
I've heard that there's, like, crazy wait lists for the
It sells out in an hour.
Okay.
It's the greatest summer camp of all time ever.
Yeah.
I
I'm pretty
guarantee
sure
you.
I had a friend who actually did that as, like, one of the, like,
Counselors.
counselors.
I've got a few. Yeah. It's probably, I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I could take a summer off, I would be a cardboard camp counselor for sure, hands down. I think it's the greatest possible example of how you should live your childhood. But I guess to clarify, I think creating in general, creating in general doesn't necessarily mean you want to be on TikTok and be on YouTube Shorts. I agree. YouTube Shorts is basically, to a parent, the most evil thing possible. Like, YouTube is one of my biggest enemies. At a certain point, what happens, because my kids are getting to the age where they're just, like, at school and, like, around stuff, that their influence comes in from something you can't control. So, because, you prevent your kids from having phones, you prevent your kids from watching all this stuff. Eventually, it loses your control, especially if you want a life, because you have to give some level of autonomy to a certain point.
Yeah.
So you're better off just teaching them self-regulation and understanding what it is. And honestly, the best thing you can do, and I'm telling this to myself because I feel like this is the mistake that I've made and continue to make because I don't really have a lot of time. But the best thing you can do is literally just watch it with your kids. Like, sit down and watch what they want to watch with them, because then you're their friend.
I guess this really reminded me of what really does make me upset about YouTube, and what I have a huge problem with is that YouTube, and, like, there's plenty of videos and plenty of studies that actually show this. YouTube has become a sort of copy paste type of space. So in my mind, being creative, because I went to school for theater, minored in dance.
Yeah.
I'm hugely creative in my own mind. So when I'm creative. But when I'm watching this stuff, I've seen it before because someone else did it. Like everybody wants to copy Mr. Beast. Everybody wants to copy Ish. It's a Minecraft thing. But like everybody wants to copy somebody else, and they don't. I personally don't believe they're being creative by just copying and moving on.
Yeah.
How do you what is the balance of understanding how your kid has their own creative like path, trying to express themselves without over consuming on YouTube whatever they're doing and then copying what they're doing? Because biggest example, I worked for Climb Theater, and I used to go to these schools, and I used to act in front of these kids with these stories that we've created and performed in front of them. But every time I've gone to the school, the kid is doing the exact, like they would copy something they were doing on YouTube or on Fortnite or whatever. They're not doing their own thing. They're copying what they've seen, and every single kid is doing the exact same thing. How do you, as a creative parent, how do you make it so you're allowing your child to have their creative abilities grow versus the copying and pasting that they see?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the best thing to do is just to do it with them, like I said. But like to do, because I'm a video artist, right? So I've made some weird stuff with my kids. We shot Drunk Babies series.
You did some really hilarious things.
I've shot some amazing stuff with my kids, and whether or not they think it's cringe now is another story. But like that necessarily doesn't matter. It's just like all you should care about, I think, at the end of the day, is being close enough with them artistically that they respect your taste, because then you can still be in the conversation about what is cool. Because to think that you could fight Goliath as a parent is kind of wrong. It's more like you need someone with the resilience of you need to raise someone with the resilience to not want to just be not want to even be in the game. And one of the best benefits of the latest generation is that everything's super micro niched out. So you can find communities about any nerdy thing. Like kids can find their friends in the weirdest ways. I actually think VR I used to think it was problematic, but now I think it's incredibly powerful, because my son does a fair amount of VR, and they'll be sculpting castles together and talking to each other and playing characters and talking all the time and being really expressive. And the benefit of that is that he's not with his friends that he sees every day, where certain power dynamics are coming up, and he's either a class clown or super shy, and then that just grows over time and it's in front of everybody. But now he's building his creative muscle in these other avenues. And I think the future of creative expression in video games and in technology in general for kids is really bright. It's like what I said earlier, is I would never want a kid, a teenager in the last 8 years or the last 9 years. I think that statement will probably be true for the next 9 years. It's only going to get better because niches are more championed. I mean, I don't know with what's going on in the government now, but niches are more championed, and there's different avenues for your kid to express themselves. But in general, it's I actually wrote a TV show. The reason I work at the company I work for is I did that 4-hour dance, and then I spent a month building a pilot and a whole mood. It's a 60-page deck with an entire storyline with multiple characters to create a episodic thing in motion capture with all these characters, design the characters, have this whole crazy philosophy. And the whole philosophy of the show, it takes place inside of a metaverse where there's these kids are in a metaverse, and they get it's kind of like Ready Player One, but they get an invitation to a battle of the bands, but in the metaverse. And the whole point of the show, the whole philosophical point of the show, would be to make, and this will distill my entire philosophy for what you want in your children beyond anything else, is the whole philosophy of the show is to make your kids want to be in a band and make them want to like have creative outlets more than they want to go to a festival or go to a show. Like that's like by the time they're like, you know, in their 18s and 20s, because I think the threat of social media and the threat of just you know, doom scrolling and just getting slower and lower in your couch, like especially as a young man, and all the thirst traps and all that shit, like everything that's going to come out, it's really high. So like a creative spirit will survive that higher than anyone else. So like making kids want to collaborate with each other and having the social dynamic skills to be able to collaborate with each other on creative projects is the best thing ever. Like the camp that I want to make is like a version of Cardboard Camp, but it's basically just like in 1 week we're going to make a movie. And when you make a movie with a group of kids, not every kid needs to be on camera. There's the cameraman, there's the technical kid, there's the sound guy, there's everybody's still involved, but you still get this collective creative experience. And it's like, you know, yeah, you want kids to create, and you're right, they're just going to copycat everything, but they won't grow out of the copycat. I mean, they have to grow out of the copycat thing on their own mind, on their own time.
Can I chime in on the copycat thing? I've been a musician for like 20 years, and I think that's part of the come up. Like as a musician, you're going to learn riffs from other people. You have to copy almost to be able to learn how to create. I mean, there's only so many notes, there's only so many chords, progressions, everything. So at a certain extent, even like movements on the body, like there's only so many expressions that we can do.
Yeah.
So everything eventually is like a copycat in some shape or form. So I guess what I was like, you were like worried, like, you know, if they're copying, are they actually being truly expressive and creating? But I would say from a musical standpoint, I think that you almost need that, and you're never going to lose that.
It takes so long to be good at editing and to be good at understanding like how to like understand attention. And unfortunately, the art of content creation, if that's where they end up going, is just about the Mr. Beast hook and like what all that shit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm just
There's a formula, just like music.
And that's gross.
And
like,
just
gross,
trying to clarify, I understand that nothing is like Ed Sheeran had a whole thing that he went to court for, was expressing the fact that nothing is creativity is not like purely out of nowhere. Everything is built off of somebody doing something. Everything's derivative from something else.
Yeah, you played that because you heard that.
Yes, and I'm not saying that that's the issue that I'm having. I'm saying the issue that I am seeing and that is being shown consistently on YouTube is the exact same cuts in the exact same fashion, in the exact same cadence. It's purely copy and paste, but with different faces.
You see that?
Oh, I got something for you actually.
Yeah.
Something really poignant about that. That is kind of in some ways your responsibility, because one thing that we all end up believing, especially our generation, is just like it's hard not to believe this, but it's fundamentally scientifically true that we need to and feel responsible for taking care of our own algorithm. And the fact is, like, you see stuff repeatedly because of the way the algorithm thinks that you see it. So you literally have to clean it. Like, it's like a whole process. You have to like go in, tell it what you don't like. You have to spend the time to do it. I've only done it once. I've only like gone in there and been like, I'm going to be militant about like my algorithm and not want to see this, not want to see this, not want to see this. Tell it every time something comes in, and then like actively go out and get academic stuff, research stuff, like the kind of podcast I want to see. Because like I have a 14-year-old goth friend, and she also restores my faith in humanity because like she's so micro niched, and she's like still listening to Marilyn Manson and all this shit. It's like she's so micro niched and has such a cool, awesome like goth community. They make like goth Furbies that are like 10 feet long and like have like dangly earrings, and they like that's like a whole art form. Like, and she like makes all this crazy goth art, and it's a fully rich, like gigantically rich creative industry or like community.
Niche, yeah.
And that actually helped me understand the niche thing. I think mainstream is something you always have to battle. Whether or not your kid's going to be the weird kid and the kid in the band is like not up to you either.
Right.
At the end of the day, you can't like say it was your fault or whatever that they become a banker, but you know, you got to try. You got to try your best.
How do you, like, when you're going into like clean it up, like, do you just mean like when it comes up like disliking the video, or like
tell it you don't want to see it? Yeah, okay. there's the little button.
I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube, so I don't really like.
Don't show me this again.
Well, no. This applies to everything.
Yeah.
Like this applies to Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. They all have that ability.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing you can't do that on is Snapchat, because that's who you're friends with.
Then you just have to decide you don't want to see them anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Delete. Silence or whatever.
I think it's interesting too with like the younger generations of these like super micro niche like communities, and like that you can find more of those people, and like through like the internet and all the things that we have now. Whereas before you would have had like one goth friend or whatever, you know, in your hometown. But also that like hypothetically, I suppose you can explore different identities a little bit more like, because you can't pop in and out of like your physical school environment necessarily, or like, you know, you've got the dynamics that are sort of set in stone in those situations to a certain extent. But like if you have like explored this goth scene and you're just like, I don't like this anymore, I don't like these people anymore, you can just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go pick up and try this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that exploration, like that, like it's hard, you know, we've talked about like being from like a small town, it's like I get what I get, you know, kind of thing. Like
totally.
So it's interesting to think about like their ability to just like try out new personalities and new styles and new vibes and things.
I was gothic for like 2 weeks once.
I bet you were.
Long hair? Did you have long hair? I bet you.
No, never.
A lot of
never
eyeliner.
really. I did grow it out to like here once.
I could see you like being a drummer in a metal band.
I'm a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But having like
I like
the
drum,
bangs.
but no.
I love it. Well, I think we should probably like start to wrap up, but I was going to ask you if there's anything that like you're working on right now that you want to talk about, or anything that like you want to see more of, or that we can help like bring it out into the universe a little bit more.
It's like 4 questions.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. What's next? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, well, so my company Feedback in Minneapolis and the world, and New York, we're bringing it to New York. We're still trying to push the boundary. We're trying to like bring in niche events more than anything. I feel like there's a big opportunity for like really good conceptual parties to come back to Minneapolis in a fun way, like the stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a play to like push the boundaries of the way that happens with weird Voice of God events. I want to see a lot of fake raids at parties. You know, like I want parties to be mobbed by cops that are really strippers way more often. Way more often.
Theatrics.
Yeah, theatrics.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think, you know,
and curveballs.
And curveballs, theatrics, you know, yeah. All the things you want to see, even if it's like a corporate keynote, like I think you can get weird with it. And I think this city has a long way to go, but I'm also really excited about the future of this city when it comes to events.
That's great.
Yeah, do you want to plug anything else, or are you brands or anything like
that? A lot of stuff coming down the pike.
Yeah, no, I know you got so much. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface.
I'll be releasing some AI software soon. I'll let you guys know.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a follow-up one at some point, and we can build some things in AI or whatever. I don't know how that works, but
maybe we can make it more interactive.
Yeah.
We got to introduce you to an AI VR guy.
Cool. Wait, Amir?
In this building.
Oh, in this building. Cool.
Yeah, we were just talking to him. He blew my mind with like the shit he can do. So we'll talk after the show. But yeah. Well, thanks for being here, dude.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
My first podcast. It feels like really comfortable.
We've set the bar really high for you.
I feel like this might be one of my best podcasts.
The best.
The best. It was their favorite for sure. So if nothing else,
thanks for having me, guys.
They've loved it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for watching the podcast. Hit the like and follow button to stay updated on our latest episode. If you have ideas of topics or guests you'd like us to interview, drop us a comment, and we'll see you next time.